The departures hall at JFK throbbed with restless energy. Screens blinked with red delays and green on-time promises. Announcements boomed overhead, swallowed by the shuffle of hundreds of shoes across polished tile. In the middle of it all, Alina Carter clutched her son's hand and pulled their suitcase a few more feet forward in the slow-moving line. Her son, 5-year-old Jacob, looked small beneath the weight of his backpack. A stuffed bear's head poked out of the zipper. He stared at the bright departures board with wide eyes, his voice hopeful. "Is it our turn soon, Mom?" Elena smiled faintly, though her jaw ached from holding it tight. "Almost, sweetheart." She kept her other hand wrapped around the handle of their scuffed suitcase, the one she had carried since college. Its wheels caught on every seam in the tile. Her palms bore the faint marks of calluses that no cream could soften. Reminders of double shifts and too many late nights cleaning offices after hours. When they reached the counter, Elena placed her envelope of cash and coins carefully in front of the airline clerk. She had counted it 3 times in the cab that morning. Rent paid, groceries rationed, every expense shaved down so she could make this flight. It wasn't just a trip. It was her chance to stand in court and make sure Jacob still had a home in Seattle. The clerk, a young man with neat hair and a weary patience, began counting. Quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies clinked one after another into the tray. Elena's stomach nodded tighter with each sound. Jacob leaned against her hip, resting his cheek on her coat sleeve, oblivious to the tension thickening around them. Finally, the clerk stopped. His lips pressed together, then parted with a sigh. "I'm sorry, ma'am. You're short. $42.60. The word struck harder than she expected. Her chest tightened. She reached instinctively for her wallet, knowing it was already empty. "Please, can't you just hold the ticket? I'm afraid I can't print without full payment." His voice was gentle, but final. He slid the coins back across the counter. Jacob's head lifted. His eyes searched her face. "Mom, are we not going home?" Elena's throat closed. She forced a steady breath. "We'll figure it out." Behind her, someone shifted impatiently. She felt the heat of a gaze, the kind that noticed her fraying coat, the worn shoes. The coins spread out like evidence of failure. She gathered the money with trembling hands, her fingers stiff from both cold and shame. Then a low voice cut through the noise, calm, certain. "Add her ticket to mine." Elena froze. Slowly, she turned. The man standing a step behind her was tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in a simple dark suit that managed to look both effortless and expensive. His presence seemed to quiet the air around him. He held out a sleek black card between 2 fingers. No hesitation, no ceremony, just an action, clean and final. The clerk straightened immediately. "Of course, sir." He swiped the card, tapping keys swiftly. Helena blinked, her breath catching. I can't let you." The man's gaze met hers briefly. Cool, unreadable, yet not unkind. "It's done." Jacob stared up at him, wide-eyed, as if the stranger had just performed a magic trick. Alina's lips parted to argue further, but no words came. Instead, she lowered her eyes, pressing her palm over her son's hair. When the clerk handed over the tickets, Alina accepted them with both hands. "Thank you," she whispered, voice unsteady. The man gave a single nod, already turning his attention back to the line. But in that brief moment, his eyes flicked downward, catching on the marks along her hand as it clutched the suitcase. His expression shifted almost imperceptibly from neutrality to something more distant. A thought, a memory, then it was gone. Elena turned back toward the gate, Jacob tugging at her sleeve. She walked forward, ticket in hand, but her heart thudded louder than the rolling suitcase. She didn't even know his name. Still, his gesture lingered like a weight she could not set down. The boarding area was a swirl of voices and rolling suitcases. Families clustered in rows of plastic chairs. Business travelers tapped furiously on laptops, and loudspeakers crackled with updates about delayed connections. Elena led Jacob to an empty pair of seats in the waiting area. Jacob gazed through the glass at the airplanes gliding smoothly along the runway, his fleeting excitement momentarily eclipsing the tension at the ticket counter. Helena lowered herself into the chair with a slow breath. Her fingers still trembled faintly as she smoothed the tickets across her lap. Relief mingled with unease. Gratitude for the stranger's help, but also the discomfort of owing something she could never repay. Jacob tugged her sleeve. "Mom, that's our plane, right? The one with the blue tail." She forced a smile. "Yes, that's the one. We'll be on it soon." Her voice carried reassurance she didn't feel. Beneath her calm surface, her thoughts circled back to the man in line. The simple certainty in his voice, the way he dismissed the clerk's hesitation with a single sentence. "Add her ticket to mine." Who was he? The boarding call interrupted her thoughts. Passengers shuffled forward in a long, restless line. Elena gripped Jacob's hand and their worn suitcase. Step by step, they moved closer to the gate. As they handed over their tickets, Jacob turned to look behind them and froze. "Mom, it's him." Elena followed his gaze. Alexander Pierce was only a few passengers back, tall enough to rise above the crowd. His suit jacket was folded neatly over his arm, his expression unreadable as he waited his turn. Her pulse quickened. She turned forward again quickly, guiding Jacob down the jet bridge. The metallic hum of the tunnel echoed with each footstep. Inside the plane, Elena found their seats, a narrow pair near the wing. She helped Jacob into his seat, tucking his bear against his chest. The boy was already chattering softly about clouds and windows. Elena slid into the seat beside him, fastening her belt. She thought the moment at the counter was behind her. A brief act of kindness from a stranger she'd never see again. But as passengers continued to board, she felt it before she saw it. The shift in air, the awareness of presence. Alexander Pierce walked down the aisle. Without glancing sideways, he settled into a seat across from them, one row ahead, aisle side. Close enough that Elena could see the line of his jaw, the calm control in the way he placed his briefcase under the seat. Their eyes met for the briefest instant, hers uncertain, his steady, and then the flight attendant's voice filled the cabin, instructing passengers to switch off electronics. Elena turned to Jacob, stroking his hair as he leaned against her, but her thoughts were no longer on the safety instructions. The man who had just altered the course of her day sat only feet away, silent yet unavoidable, and she could not ignore the truth rising quietly in her chest. Their stories somehow had only just begun to intertwine.